Welcome to English 1190. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. My name is Professor Laura Gabrion. I am your instructor for this semester, and I'm looking forward to working with you and learning alongside of you. All right, our first thing to look at is the course syllabus. Once you open that, you'll notice that it is a long document. I will encourage you to look through it carefully, but some of the big parts are our textbooks are online, so you do not need to purchase any textbooks. This is where you can get a hold of me. You can also use the inbox through Canvas, and we can always meet by appointment via Zoom. This is an entirely online class. It is your responsibility to make sure that you not only have access to technology, but Wi-Fi. So if you run into problems, you're going to need to problem solve because we don't have any other options for this particular class. Of course, the expectation is to participate in the class. Those who have been absent for 1 week, I will contact you directly. If you do choose to withdraw from the class, please do it according to, the parameters, for withdrawing from a class at Macomb. You don't want to just stop coming because then you're forced to obviously receive a failing grade. This kind of goes through the description of the class, the outcomes and objectives. But the important thing is that every week will be set up the same. You'll see a view segment where you'll have your video, you'll have your reading assignment, you'll have information to review. This would be kind of like the handouts that I would pass out if we were in a face-to-face class. And then due, and that's your assignments. And every week is set up pretty much the same way. Occasionally you might not have a reading assignment or you might not need to review something, but most of the time you'll do all 4 of those things. This, is important to keep in mind, your attendance. If I don't see any sign that you've logged in by the end of the 3rd week, I list you as a no-show. That means you're automatically removed from the class. So you want to do what you need to do to keep up, and you want to ask questions when you have them. Academic integrity is very important in our, kind of land of, easy access to the internet, things like AI. It becomes tempting at times to use a particular tool incorrectly. You want to remember all of your work this semester needs to be original. All sources need to be cited, and unless you're just trying to get some general ideas, you should not be using AI to generate your papers. These need to be yours, and it needs to be, obvious that these are, this should look exactly like what I'm seeing in your discussion forums, your written papers that you're turning in your drafts. I should see some consistency in your style of writing throughout the entire semester. But the most important thing, rather than this seeming to be punitive, is that the goal of this class is to help you to become a better researcher and writer. So you want to work to that end and get all of the feedback that you can this semester. You see the consequences. You could be asked to resubmit an assignment for a lower grade. You could receive a 0 on assignment or fail the course if the transgression is severe enough. This walks you through, when you would expect. Anytime you email me, you should expect a response within 24 hours. Grading, within the shorter assignments doesn't take me very long. You should get a grade within a week. Sometimes the longer assignments, a final copy takes me a bit longer. You do have a late submission where you are allowed 2 late assignments for the entire semester. Forums do have their own rubric, and forums, really are meant to be interactive. So after 6 hours, they're reduced from 15 points down to 5. So you want to think about that. But your assignments, if they're late, will automatically be reduced by 10% of the original grade. If you don't turn in the final portfolio, which is due on the last day of the semester, you have 1 additional day to turn that in, but it will be automatically reduced by 20 points. This walks you through the point distribution of the assignments. When you see project 1, there's a lot of little assignments that make up that project number 1, and each of them have their own weight. You've got the grading scale, and you've got several pages on resources that are available to you as a student at Macomb. Like I said, I encourage you to read through those carefully. In the meantime, remember too that you've got a discussion forum rubric that's going to walk you through the grading criteria for the discussion forums, what will give you the most points, and how you will inadvertently lose points. We've already talked about that, but I've repeated that percentage distribution of your individual assignments. You've got some resources for citations, parenthetical citations, citing electronic databases, and citing internet sources. If you open any of these up, you'll notice that I've just created some examples for you so that it makes citing a little bit easier for you this semester. You've got Macomb's grading scheme. That just is, the breakdown of the percentages and what letter grade that, what the equivalent letter grade is. Sorry, couldn't think of my word. And then this probably is one of the more important things. It's how you can see my comments on your work. So what you would do is you go to grades, and then you find the assignment, and then you'll see that there's a little dialog bubble, and you can click on that. You'll see that you have access to those comments. Now, in this case, it's just a simple comment, great job. But what I do for your drafts is I include a screencast link. That link will take you to a video just like the one you're watching right now that is just about your personal paper. So I encourage you, as I said, I encourage you to, open that assignment, view those comments, and look at what I've provided for you so that you can copy and paste that link, and you can review my comments on your assignment before you move to that final copy. If you have any trouble accessing these, let me know. All right. As I said, you've got your view, read, review, do. This is your week at a glance. All of the weeks will look pretty much the same, and I will always send you a reminder. But like I said, this is my way of understanding that you're struggling in an online class is when you email me or you ask to meet me via Zoom. Otherwise, I assume that you're keeping up. So please, reach out when you're having trouble, and please use this to get to those comments. And as I said, if you're having any trouble, let me know.